GB Cycles with another weekend update. So the cycle situation, we are now entering the bullish phase of my 4-week cycle. So I have an upside bias, into around 6th, 7th November or longer, and I really don't like to say predict against this cycle, but we are quite overbought here, so it could end in a more sideways action before we then turn down with the cycle. We have the 10-week cycle. It is pointing down to a low around early December, but it could be a late low in the second half of December. We had late lows earlier here, rather late lows. We have the 20-week cycle. So when I have been studying these cycles, I have found that the 10-week cycle is kind of something you can trust, but the 20-week cycle can behave more well, sometimes it can shift or invert, so to say. So suddenly you can have the 20-week cycle lows in the middle, and then you have this shifted pattern for a long period, up to a couple of years, and then it shifts back. So it could be that the 20-week cycle low has shifted into this 10-week low a bit late, and that the pattern, the rhythm has changed. So we have to see. But let's have a look. At historical bear markets, we should be in a big B, which could be a sideways consolidating pattern before we turn down with a big C. And so far we have done nothing different from normal pattern. We have done this, call it bear flag, and we have broken above the 50-day moving average, which is allowed. We have retraced a bit more than 38%, which has happened before. So here I have drawn a 10-week offset. So what normally, or what I should say, what never has happened, is that if we break above this, then I can't find any bearish outcomes. So we should stay below this 10-week offset. And if we drop down here, then it would be allowed to try to break above here, but failing and then turning down. So well, if I was to draw that, it would look like, if we draw it from here, so we could go up here somewhere, and we could turn down, and then Christmas rally, and then early January we turn down. That would be okay from the historical patterns. So, however, you can't rule out that there's a first time for everything. So let's say we do something like this. Still, that, in my opinion, could turn out bearish, but I would think I would lose my edge for it. Also, from historical patterns, that's not the normal thing. So I showed the 80-week offset. We had broken below the 80-week offset, generating a downside target. Now we try to get back up. So but when using offsets, in the longer term, I often have been using an offset of half the 3.5-year cycle, and that's more like 90 weeks, not 80 weeks. So if you look at the around 90-week offset, we see that we did break below the offset, and we have bounced back above. So here I could see, you know, if we try to hang on to this offset and then start to break up, you know, that's a strong indication the bear market is over. You could have this kind of historical not normal pattern that we could break down here, but you know, so my favorable scenario I think is we go down, maybe not to lower lows around early December. We have a New Year rally, but not breaking to the upside, and then we turn down. But yeah. So the 10-week cycle, here I have VIX, inverted VIX. So I could have shown just as well the S&P, it would have been the same pattern. You see, we turn down with the cycle. Here not so much, so probably that's a 20-week low, that's a 20-week low, that's only a 10-week low. Not so much, here we turn down low, we turn down, a bit late, not so much, here we turn down, there down, not so much, down, 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 or not so much, here we turn down, that's the COVID crash. After the COVID crash we got a bit of a disturbance, it was so oversold, so here we are a bit out of sync with this cycle, but here we get back in sync, down or more sideways, down, 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 and now we're here, and we should have VIX going up, you know, when it's inverted here, so the scale is turned upside down. So, but this 10-week cycle, will it? How deep can it take the market? So I'm really not sure about that. Above the 50-day moving average, we see. If we look at recent behavior in the 10-week cycle, we see it projected actually a high on Thursday, Friday. So yeah, next 1 to 2 weeks obviously very critical. So we have broken the 5-week offset here, and that's okay in a 10-week cycle. You know, back here we couldn't break above, but it doesn't yet have to be a 20-week cycle. But if this is a 20-week cycle, oh, you know, we could have a larger move here. So not much to say. Yeah, from the hourly data in Dow Jones, we had an extreme, but still normal, an extreme oversold condition here, and Dow Jones, you know, it is above the 200-day moving average, and now the hourly data is extremely overbought. So looking at historical data, going from extremely oversold to overbought has happened before, but there's no clear edge for what's next. You know, it could be the start of a long bull run, it could be a blow off top, or it could also be a momentum high, and then a price high would follow a bit later after a dip. So no clear edge, and the hourly data looks like it's not quite ripe for a downside next week. It looks like Monday, Tuesday has a slight upward bias, but you know, it could just drop down early as well, but I can't see the edge clearly. So I'm really uncertain now, a bit uncomfortable about the strength of this rally, so we have to see. Yeah, see ya.